You can listen to my entire life soundtrack, the whole thing, as a playlist on Apple Music, Spotify, as well as Tidal. All you have to do is look up Songology with Alexis Rogers. Man, even when I was little, like I think about life through music. Like I've always heard a beat, or I've always, I get on my husband's nerves because I'm always making songs out of the most random things. But it's like that's how my mind works. Like as a kid, I was the oldest of 3 girls, but for the longest I was the only. And my parents would always find me like talking to myself, singing to myself, rhyming to myself, those types of things. Like music has always been a way that has helped me express myself, helped me explore the world, I guess, and still feel safe, but feel like I'm kind of on this journey of like finding new things with each new song or beat or, whatever have you. And especially when I was younger, I really struggled with anxiety when I was younger. So my mom and my dad had me sign up for piano lessons, and it never failed. It didn't matter how anxious I was or how many things we had to do. I would walk into piano one way, I would walk out another way. The funny thing is, I don't know if I even remember how to play the piano because it's been so long. I'm sure I could pick it up again. I've actually been thinking about taking lessons. I would really like to take lessons. I played the saxophone for like 7 years. I love jazz. I sing. I used to write music. My mom was a singer. So, yeah, I love music. I'm Alexis Rogers, and I'm a news anchor by day. I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend, I'm a warm soul, I'm an old soul, all of those things. So I'm attracted to strong voices. And that's with music, that's with like poetry, that's with journalism. A voice is something that's just so unique to the person who has it. A lot of people tell me that like my voice is very special to me. Like they don't ever tell me, whether I'm talking to a hiring manager or I'm talking to somebody in the business, they're always like, oh, I heard you, and it made me want to look and see like what matches with this voice. Whitney Houston is that. But there's something so free about I want to dance with somebody. Like I was definitely that kid, and I'm that adult now, where like if I'm feeling it, I'm dancing all by myself. I love to I love to get it out. Like I'm like, okay, let's do it. And that's what that song does. If I play it in the car, wherever I play it, I'm always like, oh yeah, like there's a freedom in it. Like it's like you can feel it. It like hugs you, and it's almost like a roller coaster because, you get to the part where she's like, I want to dance with somebody. And it's not even about the person, even though you keep hearing somebody all the time. It's all about how she just wants to experience all of these things in these moments. And moments are really big for me. I fight for moments all the time. Anybody who's close to me knows that moments mean a lot to me. And I feel like that's what that song is all about. But it's such a hit that like, you play I Want to Dance with Somebody and you can't help but be carefree, let your hair be big, just be colorful and beautiful and just not worry about what anybody thinks. That is, especially being a woman of color, I feel like that is a constant fight. You see it now with everybody wearing their hair natural, which is so beautiful, or reclaiming their time or whatever the case may be. Like, Whitney was on that right then, and that's all, honey. So the Potter's House, the first time I ever heard that song was at my mom's funeral. Yeah, the first time I ever heard the Potter's House was at my mom's funeral. It was at the church that I grew up in initially. It was the church that my parents met at. The bishop's son-in-law who was a really good friend and one of my favorite singers in the entire world. Her name is Lisa Jones. I was always enamored with her voice, even as a young girl. She used to sing with Donna Lawrence and all these people. And she loved my mom. And when they sang it, I remember, so my mom's here, we're in, the front row. I think I was getting ready to speak, and that was the song selection. And I just remember closing my eyes and feeling every word. The potter's going to put you back together again. I felt like I heard the world crack when I saw my mom take her last breath. We were in the room when they removed the mask. Her godmother was on the side, literally singing her to glory. And I remember just sitting there feeling so cheated and not reacting because I had my baby sister in my arms. She was 8. My dad had my sister and my middle sister in his arms. And, there was loud noises coming from this way because she had a sibling and her mom and dad were there and they were upset. And our pastor is right here and he's crying. And I remember seeing the tears. It was like everything was in slow motion. And I remember seeing the tears kind of stream down his face and he's saying, "I'm sorry. You're not supposed to see me cry." And I don't remember crying at all in that room. I just remember feeling like something just cracked. Like, have you ever heard like white noise? It was like an out-of-body experience. And it didn't stop in that moment. It just kind of kept going until I heard this song. And in case your situation is turned upside down and all that you've accomplished, it was like somebody had just said, "Hey, I see you." And I just put everything that you've just experienced over these years in a song. And I remember just sitting there, eyes closed, and just being like, "Lord, but you will put me back together again. It's just a matter of time. And I don't know when that time will be, but it's just a matter of time." And it took me a long time to listen to that song and not feel what I felt at that exact moment. I can like the song sometimes comes on my Pandora now or, on my playlist now. And now I get more just like a spirit of reverence. But for the longest, it was like God's outward promise to me in that moment. And so, yeah, even now when I hear it, sometimes I just kind of stop what I'm doing or I just close my eyes if I can. If I'm driving, I can't. But it just makes me always think, because my God, we've come a long way. I used to not feel like I could. Matter of fact, when I heard that song, I felt like I was taking a breath again. Because for the longest, I felt like I wasn't breathing. I was going through the motions. I was, we were living. And I was thankful to live the way that we were before all of that happened. It wasn't perfect, but I was very aware that I was thankful to be in the situation. And it was like that song was just God's promise. And I just remember when they finished the song, I just remember kind of sitting there and being like, okay, I believe you. I believe you. Reggie's always had a beautiful voice. And it's so funny because everybody else asks him to sing, and I never ask because, when you have a gift like that, sometimes you don't feel like sharing it. or sometimes it's not meant to be shared just because it's been requested, right? And so I asked him. I didn't ask him to sing. I didn't ask him to sing for the wedding. I felt like however he was gonna tell me how he felt about me, he would. And when he started to sing it, it was so us. You know, we both have gone through a lot of trauma in our life. And we both have very much chosen to be very intentional with each other and about each other since the very beginning. As friends, as people evolving from friends to courtship. Like, he never was like, I think I like you. It was, I want to court you. Do you know what that means? And I'm like, who says that? But I was like, who says that? And, you know, eternity is something that means something a little different for us. We both have seen from both of our parents what death do us part looks like. And so him singing that, when we first began, it's sweet. It's intentional. And I think there's a line in there that says, when I die,
if I die, hope to find you in another life, so we can fall again, be the way we were when we first began. First time that I ever saw you smile, I want that feeling again. Be the way we were when we first began. Yes, we got something special. Let's hold.
That's us. That's so us. Like, I remember feeling that way. And when he chose that song, that's why it took me off guard, because even listening to the words, I remember before we even became officially, boyfriend and girlfriend, I remember having a moment to myself and being like, I never want this feeling. It was, being with Reggie was like being at home. And that was the first time in my life, in my adult life, that I finally felt whole again. And I remember being like, I never want this to go. And that's what that song is about. It's beautiful. And it's PJ Morton. I feel like one of these days, I just want to meet him and help him understand that his album is like my life soundtrack. And hopefully, like, I want to sound like a super fan, because I am, okay? But he's like the perfect mix of gospel and soul, and it is me, and he is me. That is all. PJ Morton, ladies and gentlemen. So talented. Hey there, make sure that you check out all of the behind the scenes and all the cool things surrounding my episode on IWPTV.com.